So I know I'm late to the party, but I just heard in a video about the entire conversation about Indians lacking civic sense. Why do so many of us, not all of us by any means, behave in certain specific ways when we go abroad? It's not that people from other nationalities don't steal or don't scam, but with us, there are certain very specific patterns that you observe. Number one is that you feel that you are entitled to do something like this, and partly that entitlement comes from the fact that you are living in a very cutthroat society where there is very low social trust. So if there is a game being played, game theory 101, if there is a game being played and everybody else is cheating and you are the only one who's an honest player, you are going to suffer and you are going to be left behind. So there is a lot of entitlement also when you hear these scam callers from India. Some of their videos, there's a lot of entitlement, there's a lot of like, yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing, and then there's anger that is coming out of that entitlement. And I think part of that is because of the fact that we see around us that we live in a society which is very cutthroat. We come from a low trust environment. We do not trust our surroundings. We do not really trust our government or our systems to run efficiently, to run on time. So every person feels that they are on their own. And if I am on my own, why should I not take advantage of whatever is available to me if this is a game of survival, right? So I know I'm late to the party for this conversation, but
Okay. So you don't have any sort of Illinois ID, anything like that?
I'm not from this country.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people who aren't from this country that still have
no.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a middle name?
No. I can only do is I don't mind paying for it, everything, and then leaving.
No, that's not happening.
Can't do that.
okay. So once again, the second point was that people from other nationalities steal, but they don't try to negotiate because they already know what the result is going to be. And here she is very clearly, it's like a bargain in her head. She is trying to like strike a deal, and it may look very weird to look at it like that. However, let me tell you, our relationship to authority in our country is not the kind of relationship to authority that people in the Western world typically have. Authority in our country comes with very little accountability, very little accountability. And I feel a bit weird saying this because what Donald Trump has been doing with all the ICE raids in the US, authority can lack accountability anywhere. You can see it, like they don't have accountability, they act like they're not answerable to people. So it's not an India specific problem, but in our culture we have this thing which is like sewn into our culture that authority means no accountability. Once you are in a position of authority, nobody gets to ask you why, what, where, and therefore more than the actual rules which are laid out, your life will be determined much more by how well you can negotiate with authority, how you can enter the good books of authority. So the rules which have been laid down don't really matter very much, but how much can you engage with authority in a positive way, that is going to have a much greater influence on your life. So she is constantly trying to negotiate. I mean, are we surprised? We are from a country where cops, okay, very openly, when they see a guy and a girl sitting on a park bench, they feel extremely emboldened to go to that couple. It could be like 16-17-year-old guy and girl, and they start threatening that couple, saying that I will charge you with public obscenity, I will charge you with this, I will charge you with that, give me money. And that is harassment and abuse, and they feel so emboldened to do it because there is no accountability. Younger people are not taught that you can fight back. Younger people don't want to fight back, and very often what they would have to deal if they were to fight back seems a lot worse than somehow just giving this cop some money, tolerating whatever he's telling you, whatever bad words he's using for you, and going. So, surrendering in front of authority feels much more feasible than fighting or standing your ground, and that's why there is this culture of negotiation, which this lady is doing right now.
Then we lost that opportunity.
Why can't I just
Yeah.
pay for it?
Yeah, we're way past that. You committed a felony.
But if I'm paying for it, what is the harm?
It would have been fine if you didn't leave, right? You would have had that opportunity to pay, but because you left the store, at that point, you chose to not pay for it. And we can't go back. That already happened.
So now how do you order it or what do you do?
You can't.
So she is still trying to negotiate. Like I said, I have a story, okay? And my grandfather told me this story. I don't know how much of it is a myth and how much of it is true. But listen to this. This basically talks about the fear that people had, the fear of authority that is meant to protect you. So people in India fear cops, and people in India fear people in position. So one time my grandfather told me, in his village, like one man had some kind of a disagreement with a cop. This is when he was young. Okay. Now that cop got so pissed that he came in the night to arrest this man's son who had fought this cop. So the man who had fought the cop, his son was arrested. For what? Nobody knows. The father followed, and the father could not really get into the station obviously and rescue his son. So the entire night the father heard his son screaming from the outside. So that's like the horror story, that the father spent his night screaming, hearing the son screaming. So there is very little accountability when it comes to authority in India, which is why written rules don't really matter. And I don't want to talk about 1 billion people. A lot of us are very well behaved. From my own experience abroad, Indians are some of the most generous people you can meet. They always welcome you, they always offer you things, they offer you food. Even in Indian communities here, they help each other monetarily, physically. They are always there to help each other. So it's not fair to say that we are all the same, but there are certain overarching themes in our society which lead to certain behaviors outside, and I think that has to do with the kind of unfairness and struggle we have to deal with on a daily basis, where even a little bit cheating can help you feel like, okay, at least I got out of it less fucked, you know. And then you feel like whatever it is, I can negotiate with authority, I can bribe them, I can praise them, I can flatter them, and I will get myself out of situations.
Come back to Target. You can go to another Walmart or Meijer or Kohl's, or you're gonna have to find a different store to shop
You don't
at.
have to pull this off.
Well, but again, you made that decision. I
I'm
didn't.
gonna try to run this and see if I can get it to come back. I'm gonna try to run this for now, or we're gonna take you back to the station and you can.
Won't get into any trouble.
Yeah, it's too late for that, girl. Pull up your passport.
No, but then what am I supposed to do?
That's none of my business. I don't know. You shouldn't have been stealing stuff.
I have not yet done anything.
Oh, you have. Pull up your passport.
For what? What do I do?
Okay, negotiation. Obviously, because it's not real, because all of this that she did was done under the assumption that she will be able to get out of it, even if caught. I think we are wonderful people, but I do think life is extreme amounts of struggle in India, and we are an extremely hierarchical society. You don't want to piss off anyone who's at a higher position than you, and it starts at home. At home, you don't want to piss off your mother and father. because there is no accountability there. They can do pretty much whatever they want. You cannot piss off your school teachers, so you cannot fight back when you are mistreated. You cannot piss off your coaching institute teachers. You live in a way that you don't want to piss anybody off, and life can feel like a struggle. So sometimes, this is my opinion, that kind of an environment, it makes people accustomed to acting in certain ways, and then they keep acting in those same ways even when they go outside. Yeah, and I hope things change. I think people now are becoming more aware. I really think a lot of this comes from our relationship to authority in our country. And I think when we have people in authority at every level who are more accountable, who need to speak in a respectful way to you, who are required to hear your complaints, I do think we will not live in this sense of desperation where we just want to squeeze just a little bit out of every single situation and then we feel like we can negotiate and get out.